If the only thing you're tracking from your candidates is their resumes, you're already behind. Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Salesforce for Recruiters. I'm your host, Brad Owens, and I was just like you. I spent well over a decade in recruiting using various pieces of technology that never really fit what I wish they could do for me. And then I saw Salesforce, and I went, where has this been all my life? And since then, I've dedicated my career to helping recruiters understand how Salesforce can actually be used to help them take their recruiting to the next level. And we're going to talk specifically about that on today's episode. The recruiting world is shifting faster than most people realize, and it's because of the importance of this new type of data that most recruiters aren't even collecting or even aware that they need to collect it. So let me give you a case in point. About a month ago, we saw the big news article about Randstad and Workday teaming up. And what happened is Randstad gave Workday users and Workday themselves access to their entire talent database. The entire thing. Now, why on earth would they do that? That used to be all of our value, right? Oh my gosh, that's all of my profiles. They're going to have all my candidates. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's what Randstad realized and why they have given this gesture to the recruiting world and to Workday by giving up all their candidate profiles. Resumes don't matter. Candidate profiles in your database don't matter. So if we're in this new world where those kinds of things don't matter, what does? Interactional data. Interactional data is what's going to help fuel recruiting into the future. And I can tell by most of the reactions that I get when I start talking about interactional data is no one is thinking about this. So I want to dive into that into this episode and show you why interactional data is so important for you and your recruiting firm to help you take advantage of what's coming in recruiting. You know, when I was recruiting, I used to think we had really good data. We had resumes, we had candidate notes, and that was about it. And we used to think that was good, but everything that was happening with this talent and with these hiring managers was all occurring in all these different systems. We used to have disconnected communications from phone calls here, texts here, LinkedIn messages here, to emails that were sent from this system that when they came back into our ATS, they weren't tracked. And we used to lose everything that we were doing all day, every day. Think about all the time you spend interacting with hiring managers and candidates and how little of that's actually tracked today. The reason that Randstad felt so comfortable turning over their entire candidate database is because they realized that is worthless in today's day and age. With the possibilities that we have to track interactions with all these different individuals, that's where the true money is. That's what's going to make our firm valuable and completely indistinguishable from another recruiting firm. That's going to be our unique individual value as recruiting firms, is the amount of interactional data we have between our candidates and our hiring managers and ourselves. That's what's going to be valuable. I believe that candidate profiles are a dead strategy. For those recruiting firms that are coming to me talking about, well, we'd love to have a candidate portal where they can log in and update their data and send us their relevant certifications or whatever it might be, they're never going to do that. Talent will never want to do that for you. You're already collecting that type of data through your interactions with that candidate. When you are emailing them back and forth to talk about a particular job or talking to them on the phone about their background, they're already giving you the updates to their profile. When you send them out on a new job and they're doing something that's relevant to a new job that you may have in your system 2 years from now, you're not able to track that information. You shouldn't have them required to come back into your system to update, oh, I did this job this time. You already know that. The problem is you're not able to track it because you're on the wrong system. I truly believe that Salesforce is the system that's going to save recruiting going forward because it gives you the ability to start tracking all of these different interactional pieces of data that you've never had the ability to track before. And the reason that this is going to be so important is because AI can use all of this data to update all these various pieces of a candidate profile that we've been relying on manual efforts to do. But there's a huge problem. We're not collecting that data. So AI has no possible way to create an accurate candidate profile and keep that updated. So then what are we to do? How do we consolidate everything into a single channel, into a single source of data, into a single source of truth? That's Salesforce. Salesforce gives you the ability to do that. It allows you to track from the second someone becomes aware of your brand all the way through when they've completed their fourth job with you and your firm. It gives you the ability to track all of that. It's giving you that one source of data for AI to start interacting on. We've talked about Agentforce and what it has the capability to do on this channel multiple different times. Go back and watch those videos. But without data, it can't do anything. So when I talk about what the future of recruiting is, and it's all coming down to interactional data, it does not exist without a single system where all of that can pass through. And Salesforce can be that system. It has the ability to bring all these different interactions on different channels into a single source. And it's why companies like Randstad can turn over their entire candidate database to something like Workday and not flinch, because they realize the value that they have is their interaction with those candidates. There's various tools all across Salesforce that allow you to take advantage of interactional data and allow you to create those data streams so that you have the ability to leverage interactional data going forward. From the very start of your journey with a candidate or with a hiring manager or with an organization, you have Marketing Cloud account engagement. All their marketing tools at Salesforce allow you to do things like track clicks, track opens, track the time to response, all of those different things that are going to show you intent. And then you can get them into your system and start working them through the standard CRM and sales cycle that Salesforce is well known for. And then you're going to have candidates, and you can have something like the Asymbl applicant tracking system. You can find it at ASYMBL. That'll then help you start analyzing all of that data throughout the recruiting lifecycle itself, from when you become aware of them to when you match them up to a job, through the interviews and the feedback on those interviews, to the actual jobs they work and the feedback from those jobs that they've worked and the time they tracked. All of that interactional data throughout their life cycle of being a candidate, you can track because you're using the Asymbl applicant tracking system inside of Salesforce. And then you have all the back-end systems like, hey, we process this amount of payroll through Salesforce, and they tracked this amount of time, and they had the ability to interact with a recruiter while they're out on the job site because of Service Cloud and through all of those agents. And here's all those individual interactions. All of that data is what's going to be unique to you and not unique to any other recruiting firm out there. So this is how you're going to start getting that value. You need to leverage all the different tools around the Salesforce ecosystem. Things from just the apps all the way through the back end of Data Cloud, of bringing all your data silos into one specific source of truth of Salesforce. So Salesforce really is the only platform out there that's going to allow you to take advantage of this next wave of recruiting. Why then are you relying on these legacy ATS systems that don't allow you to track all this interactional data and assume that it's going to be the thing to help carry you through to the future of recruiting? It won't. These legacy systems that have been dedicated to helping you build out a robust candidate profile of all of this resume data and the notes that you took and being able to fill out little forms, that's going away. That will not be the future of recruiting. Salesforce is going to be the only way that you're going to be able to start tracking all this interactional data. You need to make this switch. So I'm going to tell you this, AI will not replace recruiters. I don't think it ever will. But recruiters that use interactional data and Salesforce are going to replace the ones that don't. I can guarantee you that, because interactional data will be what is valuable to a firm in the next decade. I can guarantee that. And you can come back and watch this video and throw a comment on it, because I guarantee it's going to be the future. So why aren't you leaning in to interactional data? Why aren't you tracking that yet? You need to be on a system that can do that. So check out Salesforce and their Data Cloud and their Marketing Cloud tools, and check out the Asymbl applicant tracking system, and check out Service Cloud and Agentforce and all those things that it can do. That's what's going to drive your firm forward. Don't get overwhelmed. I can help you through that. There's plenty of videos on this channel that can help you through that. But I want to make sure you're set up for success into the future. So if you like this kind of content, there's plenty more at salesforceforrecruiters.com. It'll take you through this and many, many other kind of topics. And because you've made it this far into the episode, I want to give you a little bonus. I want to answer your question directly. So if you email me, hello@bradowens.com, I will happily answer your question, or even do a specific video on it if there's enough meat there so that I can put an entire video together. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for making it this far into the video. There'll be another one coming just next week. Follow me on LinkedIn for daily videos of exactly these kinds of topics of using Salesforce for recruiters. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.